Picture this. It's 7 p.m. on a Tuesday. You're sitting in traffic after a long day, your phone's blowing up with emails you didn't have time to answer, and your brain is screaming, "Why is everything so overwhelming?" Maybe you snapped at someone you love today because stress got the better of you. Or maybe you're lying awake at 2 a.m., your mind racing with what-ifs. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if I'm stuck like this forever? Sound familiar? I know it does for me. We've all been there, caught in that whirlwind of stress, anxiety, or even anger at ourselves for not being where we want to be. Life feels like a treadmill sometimes, doesn't it? You're running, sweating, but not really getting anywhere. But here's the thing. What if I told you that you're just one small decision away from changing everything? Not a big, dramatic leap, just one tiny choice repeated every day that could shift the entire direction of your life. Welcome back to Emorations, where we don't just talk about feelings, we transform them into fuel for growth. Today we're diving into something life-changing. 10 things you must work on every day to break free from stress, find your purpose, and build a life you're proud of. These aren't just tips or hacks, they're daily disciplines that can turn chaos into clarity, frustration into focus, and doubt into determination. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to walk away with a game plan to start today. So grab a notebook, a coffee, or just lean in. Let's get to work. Before we dive into the 10 things, let's ground ourselves with a little wisdom from one of the greatest minds in personal development, Jim Rohn. If you've never heard of Jim, he was a guy who took complex ideas about success and boiled them down to simple truths that hit you right in the gut. One of his most famous quotes is this: "Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day." Let that sink in for a second. Success isn't about hitting the lottery or having some big Hollywood-style breakthrough. It's about the small stuff, the little choices you make when no one's watching. It's about waking up and deciding to be 1% better than you were yesterday. Jim Rohn used to say that failure, on the other hand, is just a few errors in judgment repeated every day. So the difference between the life you have and the life you want, it's in those tiny daily decisions. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds great, but what does it look like in real life? Let me tell you a quick story to make this hit home. A few years ago, I met a guy named Mike at a coffee shop. Mike was in his late 30s, working a job he hated, and he looked like life had just drained the spark out of him. He told me, "I feel like I'm stuck in quicksand. I want to change, but I don't even know where to start." Sound familiar? Mike was frustrated, anxious, and honestly a little angry at himself for letting life slip by.
So I asked him, "What's one thing you do every day?" He thought about it and said, "Well, I scroll through my phone for like an hour, check emails, watch some TV." I told him, "What if you replaced just 15 minutes of that scrolling with something intentional? Something that moves you toward the life you want?" He laughed, like it sounded too simple to work, but he tried it. He started reading 10 pages of a personal development book every morning. Just 10 pages. That was his small discipline. Fast forward 6 months, and Mike was a different person. He wasn't a millionaire or anything, but he was alive again. He'd started a side hustle, was taking better care of his health, and had this quiet confidence I hadn't seen before. Why? Because he embraced the philosophy of small, daily improvements. That's what Jim Rohn was talking about, and that's what we're diving into today. So let's break it down. Here are 10 things you must work on every day to transform your life. One small step at a time. These are practical, actionable, and most importantly, doable, no matter where you're starting from. Let's go. The 10 things you must work on every day. Your mindset, the lens you see the world through. Let's start with the foundation of everything. Your mindset is like the lens you see the world through. If it's cloudy, everything looks dark and hopeless. If it's clear, even the toughest challenges feel like opportunities. But here's the kicker. You don't find a great mindset, you build it every single day. Think about the last time you got upset. Maybe someone cut you off in traffic, or your boss threw a last-minute project on your desk. Your first instinct might have been to think, why does this always happen to me? That's your mindset talking. And if you let that thought spiral, it can ruin your whole day. But what if you paused and chose a different thought, like, okay, this sucks, but I'm going to handle it like a pro. Here's a story to bring this to life. My friend Sarah used to be the queen of negative self-talk. If something went wrong, a missed deadline, a bad date, she'd beat herself up saying, I'm such a failure. One day I challenged her to try something. Every morning, write down one thing she's proud about herself. It could be small, like, I made a killer cup of coffee today, or big, like, I stood up for myself in a meeting. At first she thought it was cheesy, but she stuck with it. Day by day, that one small act rewired her brain. She started seeing herself as capable, not a failure. And you know what? Opportunities started showing up because she was finally open to them. How to work on it daily? Start your day with a mindset reset. Write down one positive thought about yourself or your day. It could be, I'm grateful for a new chance to grow, or I'm stronger than my challenges. If you're feeling extra bold, say it out loud in the mirror. It's awkward at first, but trust me, it's like a mental gym session. Over time, you'll notice your lens getting clearer. 2. Your emotional resilience. Bouncing back from life's punches. Life is going to throw punches, guaranteed. A bad day at work, a fight with a friend, or just that nagging anxiety that creeps in when you're trying to sleep. The question isn't whether you'll get knocked down, it's whether you'll get back up. That's where emotional resilience comes in, and it's something you can strengthen every single day. Let's talk about a guy named Alex. Alex was a co-worker of mine who seemed to have it all together. Great job, nice car, big smile. But one day, he confessed to me that he was struggling. His mum had gotten sick, and it was like the weight of the world was on his shoulders. He said, I feel like I'm drowning, and I don't know how to keep going. I told him, you don't have to be a superhero. Just focus on one small thing you can control today. For Alex, that was going for a 10-minute walk to clear his head. That small act gave him a sense of control, and it became his daily ritual. Over time, he built the resilience to face his mum's illness without falling apart. How to work on it daily. When stress or negativity hits, pause and take 3 deep breaths. Then ask yourself, what's one small thing I can do right now to feel better? Maybe it's a quick walk, a 5-minute meditation, or even just writing down what's stressing you out to get it out of your head. These tiny acts of resilience stack up, making you tougher than life's toughest moments. 3. Your communication. The art of being heard and understood. You know what's wild? Most of our problems, whether at work, with friends, or in relationships, come down to one thing: communication. Misunderstandings, assumptions, or just not listening can turn a small issue into a big mess. But the good news? You can get better at communication every single day. Let me tell you about my cousin Lisa. Lisa was terrible at communicating her feelings. She'd bottle everything up, then explode over something small like her husband forgetting to take out the trash. One day, after a huge fight, I told her, Lisa, you've got to say what you mean before it turns into a volcano. She started practicing something simple. Every day, she'd tell her husband one thing she appreciated about him and one thing she needed from him. It wasn't easy at first. She felt super awkward, but it transformed their marriage. They started hearing each other, and the fights became fewer and farther between. How to work on it daily. Practice active listening. The next time someone's talking to you, don't just wait for your turn to speak. Really listen. Summarize what they said in your head, or even repeat it back to them, like, so you're saying you're stressed about work. Then work on expressing yourself clearly.
Try saying one thing each day with intention, whether it's asking for what you need or giving someone a genuine compliment. It's like lifting weights for your words. You'll get stronger with every rep.
4. Your discipline, the bridge between dreams and reality. Let's be real. Discipline sounds boring. It's not sexy like motivation or flashy like talent. But here's the truth. Discipline is the bridge between your dreams and reality. Without it, your goals are just wishes. And the best part? You can build discipline every day, one small choice at a time. I'll never forget my friend Jake, who wanted to start a business but kept procrastinating. He'd say, "I'll start when I feel ready." Spoiler alert, he never felt ready. One day, I challenged him to do one thing for his business every day, no matter how small. Maybe it was sending one email, writing one paragraph of a business plan, or making one phone call. Jake took it seriously, and within a year, he had a side hustle that was making more money than his day job, all because he chose discipline over waiting for the perfect moment. How to work on it daily? Pick one small task that moves you toward a goal and do it, no excuses. Maybe it's waking up 10 minutes earlier, skipping that extra episode on Netflix to work on a project, or doing 5 push-ups before bed. The key is consistency. Discipline isn't about being perfect, it's about showing up even when you don't feel like it. 5. You're learning, feeding your mind daily. The world is changing faster than ever, and if you're not learning, you're falling behind. Knowledge isn't just power, it's your ticket to staying relevant, solving problems, and creating opportunities. And the best part? You don't need a classroom to learn something new every day. Let me tell you about my neighbor, Mrs. Carter. She's 65, retired, and could have easily settled into a routine of watching TV all day. But instead, she decided to learn something new every day. One day, it's a YouTube tutorial on gardening. The next, it's a podcast about history. She even started learning Spanish on an app. When I asked her why, she said, "I want my mind to stay sharp, and I want to keep surprising myself." Now she's the most interesting person at every dinner party, and she's got this spark that makes her seem 20 years younger. How to work on it daily? Commit to 10 minutes of learning every day. Read a chapter of a book, listen to a podcast, or watch a TED Talk. Pick something that excites you or helps you grow in your career or personal life. The goal isn't to become an expert overnight, it's to keep your mind hungry and growing.
6. Your time management, making every minute count. Time is the one thing we all have the same amount of, 24 hours a day. But why do some people seem to get so much done while others are always too busy? It's not about having more time, it's about using it better. Time management is a skill you can sharpen every day. I once worked with a guy named Tom who was always stressed about deadlines. He'd say, "I don't have enough time." But when I looked at his day, he was spending hours on his phone, answering emails as they came in and saying yes to every request. I told him, "Tom, you've got to protect your time like it's your most valuable asset." He started planning his day the night before, focusing on just 3 key tasks. Within a month, he was getting more done in less time and actually had space to breathe. How to work on it daily. Start your day with a plan. Write down your top 3 priorities and tackle them first. And here's a pro tip, schedule your breaks too. Taking 10 minutes to recharge isn't laziness, it's strategy. Over time, you'll find yourself less stressed and more productive. 7. Your relationships, building bonds that last. Your relationships are the heartbeat of your life. Whether it's your family, friends, or co-workers, the people around you shape your happiness and success. But strong relationships don't just happen, they take work every single day. Let me tell you about my sister Emily. She and her best friend had a falling out over a misunderstanding.
For months, they didn't talk, and it was eating her up inside. One day, I told her, reach out, say something kind, even if it's small. She sent a simple text, "Hey, I miss you." That one message opened the door to a conversation, and now they're closer than ever. It wasn't a grand gesture, it was a small, consistent effort to show she cared. How to work on it daily. Do one thing each day to nurture a relationship. Call a friend, write a thank you note, or just listen when someone needs to vent. Relationships grow through small, consistent acts of love and attention. 8. Your health. Your body is your foundation. You can have all the success in the world, but if your health is failing, it's hard to enjoy it. Your body is your foundation, and taking care of it isn't a one-time thing, it's a daily commitment. I'll never forget my coworker Rachel, who used to live on energy drinks and fast food. She was always tired, always stressed. One day she hit a breaking point and decided to make a change. Nothing crazy, just drinking 1 extra glass of water a day and walking for 10 minutes. Those small steps led to bigger ones: better meals, more exercise, better sleep. A year later, she was running 5Ks and had more energy than ever. It all started with one small choice. How to work on it daily. Pick one healthy habit to focus on each day. Drink more water, take a short walk, or swap one junk food snack for something nutritious. Small changes compound, and your body will thank you.
9. Your purpose. Finding your why. Purpose is what gets you out of bed in the morning. It's the why behind everything you do. But here's the thing, you don't just find your purpose, you build it, day by day, through small actions that align with what matters to you. I met a woman named Maria at a workshop who felt lost. She had a good job, a nice house, but she said, "I don't know what I'm doing with my life." I asked her, "What's one thing that makes you feel alive?" She said she loved helping kids in her community. So I told her, spend 10 minutes a day doing something for those kids. She started volunteering, and over time, that became her purpose. Today, she runs a nonprofit that's changing lives, all because she took small steps toward what mattered. How to work on it daily. Reflect for 5 minutes each day on what matters to you. Ask yourself, what's one small thing I can do today to live more in line with my values? It could be helping someone, pursuing a passion, or just writing down what lights you up. Purpose grows through action. 10. Your gratitude, the key to abundance. Gratitude is like a superpower. It doesn't just make you feel good, it changes how you see the world. When you focus on what you're thankful for, you attract more of it. And the best part? You can practice gratitude every single day. I'll never forget my friend David, who went through a rough divorce. He was angry, bitter, and felt like life was unfair. One day, I gave him a challenge. Every night, write down 3 things you're grateful for, no matter how small. At first, he grumbled, but he did it. A month later, he told me, "I'm starting to see the good again. It's like my heart's waking up." Gratitude didn't fix everything, but it gave him the strength to keep going. How to work on it daily. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every day. They don't have to be big. Maybe it's a warm cup of coffee, a kind word from a stranger, or just being alive. Over time, gratitude will shift your perspective from scarcity to abundance. So, there you have it, Emorations family. 10 things you must work on every day to transform your life. Your mindset, your resilience, your communication, your discipline, your learning, your time management, your relationships, your health, your purpose, and your gratitude. These aren't big, scary changes. They're small, daily disciplines that add up to massive results. Let's go back to Jim Rohn's wisdom. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. It's not about being perfect or having it all figured out. It's about showing up every single day and choosing to be 1% better. That's how you break free from stress, anxiety, and feeling stuck. That's how you build a life that lights you up. So here's my challenge to you. Pick one of these 10 things to start working on today.
Maybe it's writing down a positive thought to shift your mindset. Maybe it's taking a 10-minute walk to build resilience. Whatever it is, start small, but start now. Because here's the truth. The life you want isn't waiting for you in the future. It's being built by the choices you make today. Drop a comment below and let me know, what's one thing you're going to work on today? And if you found this video helpful, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to Emorations for more content to fuel your growth. We're in this together, and I can't wait to see how you shine. Until next time, keep working on you every single day.